Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. All right, we are ready to get back to doing some math. Today, we're going to learn how to divide polynomials. Before I got sick and everything, we were adding, subtracting, and multiplying them. So now we're going to learn how to divide them. Now, you're not going to learn like the complete division because there's one that's like long division like you would do with numbers, and that one's going to be harder for me to teach you online. So we're going to do something called synthetic division. It's like a shortcut, and it only works under certain circumstances. Okay, so it only works if you are dividing by a binomial, two terms. The power of the x is not more than 1, and it does not have a leading coefficient. Well, I mean, it has 1 as its leading coefficient. Okay, so if this was, I'm taking this polynomial and I'm going to divide it by this, and it was 2x plus 3, I would not be able to do this division. I would have to do another way that you're not going to learn. Okay, so dividing this polynomial by x plus 3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw ourselves a little like upside down box, okay, like this. And then on this top row, you're going to write the coefficients of the first polynomial they give you. So I put the 2 here. There's a 1 in front of the x squared, a negative 8 in front of the x, and then our constant is just the 5. Notice I have no x's up here. It's just the coefficients. Now, on the outside here, I'm going to put what I'm dividing by. And what I'm going to divide by is this number in the binomial. But I have to use the opposite sign. So where it says x plus 3 means I'm going to divide by negative 3. If this was x minus 3, then I would be dividing by a positive 3. Okay, so this is how you're going to set all of them up. They're going to look like this. Now, the process from there is actually very easy. I'm going to take my first number inside the box, and I'm going to drop it straight down outside the box. Then I'm going to take this number outside the box, and I'm going to multiply it by what I'm dividing by. So I'm going to say 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And I'm going to write that negative 6 inside the box underneath my next digit. Now, this becomes a math problem in itself. It's 1 minus 6 equals. So 1 minus 6 equals negative 5. I write the answer outside the box. And then I start that process again. So I'm going to take this negative 5 times the negative 3, gives me a positive 15, which is going to be written underneath the next digit inside the box. Then again, I'm going to do this math problem. It's negative 8 plus, because it's a positive, negative 8 plus 15. It gives me a 7. The answer goes outside the box. And then I do the process again. So 7 times negative 3 is negative 21, goes inside the box. Then I do this math problem. 5 minus 21 gives me a negative 16. Now, this very last answer outside the box is always going to be your remainder, what was left over. What if we were doing numbers, it would be what would end up getting turned into a decimal or a fraction as your remainder. Okay, so now the math part is done. All we have to do is put this together so it looks like a polynomial like this. Okay, so now this is a remainder. The remainder always gets written over top of what you divided by. So the whole x plus 3. Then this takes the place of your constant in the polynomial. Or if we're talking about your quadratic equation, you've got ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the c, the constant. The next number to the left is your b, what gets attached to the x. The next number to the left is your a, what gets attached to the x squared. If I had another number to the left, that would get attached to an x cubed. Another number to the left would get attached to an x to the fourth. So you build from the remainder up, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. I took my 2, attached it to an x squared, took my b, or my -5, attached it to an x, took my 7, that's my constant, and then put a plus, and then I take my remainder, and I write it on top, and underneath, I put what we were dividing by, the whole x plus 3. So this is your final answer. And what this means is if I took this, and I multiplied it by x plus 3, I'm going to end up with the 2x cubed plus x squared minus 8x plus 5. Okay, we're going to do another one. Walk through real slow again. Okay, we have x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 1 divided by x plus 3. Okay, now one thing that I didn't tell you the first time is when we are looking at this polynomial that we're starting with, we need to make sure that all the powers of the x are represented. So we see x cubed, and it doesn't matter what the first power is. Whatever it is, you start from there. And then I should see every power down to 0 from here. So I have an x cubed, I have an x squared, I have an x, and no x. So everything's there and represented. Okay, so I'm going to write my upside down box. I'm putting in my coefficients, 1, 4, -1, -1. Now remember, I'm going to divide by the opposite sign of this here. So I'm going to divide by a -3 again. Now remember, the process is take the first number, drop it down outside the box. Now what's outside the box gets multiplied by the -3. So 1 times -3 is -3. -3 gets written underneath my next digit. Now I have a new math problem. 4 minus 3 is 1. Start it again. 1 times -3 is -3. And now I don't know why this negative is way over here, but it's supposed to be a -1 minus 3. Gives me -4. And then -4 times -3 is a positive 12. -1 plus 12 is 11. Remember, 11 is my remainder. -4 is my constant. 1 is my b. 1 is my a. So constant x squared. So this is what my final answer has to look like. So I have my remainder over top of what I divided by from up here, my constant, my 1 attached to the x, and my other 1 attached to an x squared. Okay, we're going to do it again. Okay, we have x cubed minus 5x squared minus 2 divided by x minus 4. Remember, we're looking to see that all of the powers of x are represented. So I have an x cubed, which is fine. That's where we're starting. And then I have an x squared. Notice I do not have an x. So what that means is when I write these coefficients down, I have to put a placeholder where the x should belong. Okay? So it's going to look like this. I've got my coefficient of 1 here, my coefficient of -5 here. In between here is where the x should be. There is none. So I'm going to put a 0 here. There are 0 x's. And then my constant, -2. Again, I'm dividing by the opposite sign. This is a -4 here, so I'm dividing by 4. Okay, bring down my first number outside the box. And then I do 1 times 4 is 4. Now I do -5 plus 4 is a -1. Now I go back, -1 times 4 is -4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. Negative 2 minus 16 is negative 18. Okay, the last number is always my remainder. That's going to get written over what I divided by. And then this is my constant. This is what gets attached to x. This gets attached to x squared. So my final answer looks like this. Okay. Now, these are the assignments that you're going to end up doing. They are both on worksheets. So you are going to see a worksheet that looks like this. Let's get rid of that. Make sure you can read this here. Okay. So you're going to see a worksheet. It's already going to have the problem on it. Okay. You are going to have to type the answers in here. Now, at first, this is confusing. And it's going to be a little frustrating at first, but that's why the first problem is, or the first assignment is only 5 problems long. Okay. And once you get the hang of this, it will be easier. Okay. So you can go through and watch this the first time. And then the next time, I think it would be a good idea to have a Google document open and go through these steps as you're watching it to try and practice. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to set this up, which means we're going to have to draw. The way that we're going to do this is I click into the line underneath. Okay. And wherever you want this drawing to show up is where you're going to move your cursor. So I want my drawing to show up here. Okay. Now go up to your menu bar here where it says Insert. This time you're going to click Drawing. It gives you the option either New or From Drive. Click on New. Okay. It gives you this lovely extra box here. It's going to have to load for a minute. If these things look all faded, it means it's not loaded yet. You can click on the top here and drag it around. So maybe you can see the problem behind it. Whoops. Okay. Nope, stay there. Stay. Okay. So you can't see real great on the video, but I can see behind here what the problem is. So that's going to help me draw here. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is click on this little thing. It's going to give you an align option. Okay, and you want to draw your box. So you just click once, let up. Then click again, draw over, let up. If you double click, it's going to give you weird things, okay? Remember that you have this handy dandy undo button, so if you got something that looks weird, undo it, and then you can go back and try again. Okay, so that's my upside down box. Now, I have to go up here to this thing, a text box. I'm going to click on that, and where I click here is where it's going to show up, okay? So, click over here. Now, it's really long, and it's going to be a major pain in the butt. So you may end up having to, it might give you a scroll at the very bottom. If you can't see the scroll at the bottom and you need it, go up to your right hand buttons up here. And you can adjust the percentage of your view. And then it will make this box smaller and you'll be able to see it better. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do first is on the outside of this box, you are going to type in what number you're dividing by. Now it says we're dividing by x plus 3. So remember that's the opposite sign. So I'm going to type in my negative 3. Okay. Then I'm going to space over. I'm going to start putting in my coefficients. My first coefficient was a 2, space over. My second coefficient is 1, space over. My next coefficient is -8. And my last constant is 5. Okay, now I can adjust this box. I can bring this over to make it smaller. I can bring this up here. Okay, now we're going to do that again. Okay, we're going to put one box under here. Okay, so the first thing I do is take the 2 and I bring it down, right? So I'm going to type a 2 in there. I'm going to make this box smaller. I know I don't need that long of a box. Okay, now I'm going to highlight this, right click, copy, right click, paste. And I'm going to drag this identical box up here. Now I know the next number has to go underneath that 1, so I've dragged it over here. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. So now I'm going to do my 2 times -3, give me -6. I'm going to type -6 in here. I'm going to go down to this bottom box. And I'm going to do my math. 1 minus 6 is -5, not 58, -5. Then I go back up here. -5 times -3 is 15. Then I go back down here. -8 plus 15 gives me a 7. Back up here, 7 times -3 is -21. And I put my final answer here. 5 minus 21 is -16. Okay. Now that I have it looking the way I want, you can adjust things around. You can make this one longer. You can make the line longer. You can, whatever you have to do. Okay. Once you have it looking the way you want, and you believe that your numbers are correct, go up here and hit Save and Close. And now what will happen is that will show up on, whoops, sorry guys. That will show up right into your document. Now, if you have to change anything from there, you will have to go. If you have to change this at all, you feel that you've made a mistake, you're going to have to click on it. And down here where it says Edit, it'll take you back to where you typed it in and you can fix things there. Okay. Save and close. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do underneath here, sorry, this is giving me a hard time here. Okay, is I'm going to hit enter so that it moves down. Whoops, no, move the wrong thing down. Okay, click this back up. Okay, I can also put how it shows up. So you can mess with that and decide what you want to do. All right, I'm going to hit enter. And then right here, now I need to write down what this is as a polynomial, okay? So I'm going to go back up here to my insert. And this time I'm going to hit equation. All right, now I've got my 2. Now remember, this is -16 is the remainder, constant x squared. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to make my x squared. I am busy. Go. Go. -5x plus 7 plus, now I have to turn this into a fraction. Put my negative 16 on top, 16. And what I divided by, my x plus 3 on the bottom. And now I am done with the first problem. Okay, we're going to go through it again. Oh. Okay, so I've got x cubed minus x squared minus 2 divided by x minus 4. Now, if you're having trouble, maybe write this problem down on a separate sheet of paper so that when you're in the drawing thing, you can actually see the problem. All right, so first thing, hit insert, hit drawing, new. Okay, now I'm going to move this over so I can see my problem. Okay, now I'm going to move my camera so you all can see what the heck I'm doing. Nope, 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 nope. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to make my little box. Okay, then I have to hit my text box. Okay, I already know I want this half the size, so I'm going to bring it like this. Okay, remember in the front goes what we're dividing by. Now the problem is we're dividing by x minus 4. So we have to use a positive 4 out here. Okay, space over. All right, the equation was x cubed. So the first leading coefficient is 1. Type in my 1. Oh, lost my cursor. 1. Then the next one is minus x squared. So my next one is negative 1. I don't have an x, so I have to put in my placeholder, my 0. And then my constant is negative 2. Okay, new text box. Make it half the size. Pull it over here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is bring down my 1. And remember, I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to drag it up here underneath my negative 1. And I'm going to delete, whoops, come on. Delete this 1. Okay, now start my math. 1 times 4 is 4. And then click down here into this box. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And then I'm going to do 3 times 4. And I'm going to put the answer here, which is 12. Now, 0 plus 12 is 12. And then I got to do 12 times 4 is 48. Whoops. And then down here, negative 2 plus 48 is 46. Okay, make sure I like the way it looks, that my math is right. Okay, so leading coefficient is 1. Got a negative 1, 0, negative 2. Divided by opposite side 4. 3, 12, 48. Okay, save and close. Okay, so now I have it on my document, and I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to hit insert, equation, and I'm going to put this together. So remember, 46 is my remainder, 12 is my constant, 3 gets attached to an x, 1 gets attached to an x squared. So x squared plus 3x plus 12 plus, I need my fraction, 46 over, what did I divide by? X minus 4. X minus 4. And then you are all done. Okay. If you feel like highlighting your answer, then you can do this and go up here to your toolbar and pick whatever color you like. And now it's highlighted so you can see it. Okay? All right, so remember, homework has to be done this way. So have the video and the tutorial up to show you, help you walk through it. Okay? All right, good luck. Let me know. Don't forget to get a hold of me with any questions. I'll talk to you later.